a snowstorm. I went to go pick up the trailer or the lift, and of course, hauling it, it has to snow today. Welcome back to the channel. We finally got to the next day. Yesterday I went out, you can tell by the snow, had an unexpected snowstorm come in, and it kind of jacked up my day yesterday. But I got the lift here, and we're going to be starting on one of the bigger projects, which is putting up the soffits on the high ends of this house, and also the fascia. That's some of the plan here to get that done. And while I have the lift here, I'm also going to try and get these upper end gable sides of the house for the siding. That's a little bit later in this project. Right now we're focused on the soffits and fascia for these overhangs, so we're going to get busy with that. When I did the shop, I did everything off of ladders, and it was a little sketchy, and it made it really tough on me. So I went ahead and broke down and got this 42-foot lift. It's a little larger than we need, but this is what they had, so we were able to tow it with the truck and get it here. It'll make accessing the tops of these houses a lot safer and a lot easier, for sure. At least that's the hope, anyway. But we'll get busy setting this thing up, and we'll get busy working on the soffits and fascia. All right, well, that thing is pretty cool. It self-levels and got everything anchored in. So we'll do some more prep work, and then we'll get busy here. I still got to set up my work area and get some other things coordinated before we get started. But we got the boom in place, and now we'll get busy on the rest of it. Well, there's a couple things we got to figure out. What we're utilizing is the C channel here. This goes against the house, and then this is the underside, and the soffits fit into this along that. So this will actually go along this edge of the house, and then the soffits will go to the edge here, and then the fascia on the outside skirt of the board. So what I got to do before we put the C channel up there is I got to figure out exactly what my line is to run it, and also some of the angles up there before I get it start getting it installed. So we'll get busy figuring that out, and then we'll go from there. In order to get the line that I need to run up here, I think I'm going to run a string line from this corner here up to the peak, and then that way I can see exactly what that line's going to be for that C channel. To attach the C channel, I'm going to be using this 18 gauge stapler and running staples about every 8 and 12 inches along the channel as I run it up the side, and we'll get busy doing that. It's a little, like I said, it's a little tricky. Luckily, this is narrow enough to go in between the C channel to be able to nail it. I would have preferred F channel, but nobody around here carries it, so I went with what the standard is for the area. So, and it's what I used on the shop, and it's held up for 2 winters basically so far without any shifts or modifications or ripping loose. So we'll get busy putting up our first one and see if we've got our angles right. Yeah, that is loud, and I think I'm going to wear some gloves just in case the stuff kicks back and decides to cut me. Well, I know you're asking yourself, why do you, if you have the lift, why are you using the ladder? So to explain that, I have the lift set in the center of the house, and I haven't quite figured out how to get it over far to the ends and extend. I think I'm a little bit either positioned wrong with the lift or not where I need to be. And I don't want to keep moving this thing around, hooking it up to a truck, backing it up. It's easier just to do the ends here with the ladder, and then I'll use the lift for everything up into the middle and then back down the other side. So there you have it. Well, we are getting there. As you can see, I've got it to right there. So not too bad. It's coming along slow, but we're making progress. All right, well, we got one gable end done. I got the soffits in and C-channel. That's pretty good for a day considering all the interruptions with snow and rain. But we'll finish off this side. I'm gonna get it's probably tomorrow. I'm done for today, and we'll pick it back up in a few minutes for you and next day for me. But we'll start putting on the outside fascia on this side. My plan is to get the soffits and fascia on and then move to the front porch and get that one done, get the far gable end, and then the back of the house. I'm going to try and get these high points, and then given on what we have time wise, I'm going to try and sheet this again. Like I said, I'm going to try and put siding up there to get it done while I have the lift here. So yeah, we'll see you again in the morning. Well, we're back at it again today. It's intermittent weather, as you can see. As usual, it's spring in Montana, so it is what it is. Anyway, we're on today. We're going to try and get the fascia on here. Now we've got all of the soffit in on this one gable end. We're going to attempt to get the fascia up. It makes it a little bit difficult being one person and having, as you can hear, you have some wind. So we'll do our best to see if we can get this done. Well, that went up there without too much difficulty. I'm pre-drilling holes in the bottom to attack the finish nails in. So that's helping me out a little bit. Before I was just trying to bang them through, and that's just not going to work. Anyway, we'll continue on and get this all finished. So at the peaks, right, in order to get the angle correct, I'm going to set one side to kind of overhang a little bit, and then the next one will come in over the top of it to create the seam right in the center. So I'm going to take this first one, I'm going to modify it, and then we'll cut the other one to match the pitch of the roof and that end angle. All right, well, we've got one of 4 gable ends done with the soffits and the fascia. I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out. So we'll just continue on. Now that I've got some of the bugs worked out of how to work the lift and what I'm doing, some of these sides should go pretty quick. But we'll now move on over to the front of the house and see about getting that one done. That's an area right above the porch. We want to get that done. I also want to get some more house wrap on that front since that blew off during the storm. So we'll move on over there and get it going again. I've got a little bit of a weather-related slowdown, but that's not going to stop me. It's snowing today off and on, and we'll just keep plugging away on getting the soffits and the fascia up. I'm going to wait till this passes a little bit, and then we'll get right back to it. Well, I went ahead and got all the C-channel in on this thing. Got that set, and now I set the first of the soffits in, and now we'll start running the rest of them up here and see if we can get see what we can get done today. No, that took me a little bit. There was on this side there was a little bit of a dip down in the actual wood framing, so I had to modify the the fascia to contour with that to fit in there to where everything lines up evenly. A little bit of thought and work on trying to cut that metal, but it came out looking really nice, and I'm happy to have this done. So now we've got the front porch done, the south gable end, and now we'll move to the back of the house and work on that one as well. Well, one thing that makes this unique on doing the soffits here is that right here, this comes down and ends right here at the roof, and then this piece connects here. So I've got a little bit of an angle here to figure out, and then this is pretty straightforward like the rest of it. The nice part is I don't have to run a string line for this, because these 2x4s right here are even with the edge of the roughs in soffit. So we'll get that stuff in, and we'll get a C-channel all put up, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. Went ahead and I set this angle down and this angle across, because the soffit will come down here. It's got a little bit of an angle to it, and then we'll put the fascia down across this. But I have to wait to get the underside fascia here done before I put that soffit up there. But that's the solution I've got running all the way up to the peak. One thing with the fascia is as I come down, I got to compensate for the angle of the roof here, and then the rise up along here so that it goes under and clips here. So we're gonna have to do some trickery with the sheet metal in order to make that work, but we'll get her done. All right, so I've got this back side of the house with the soffits and the fascia done. That's a big step. And now we just have the north side of the house up here to do that gable end, and we'll have all the high stuff done. And then I'll start working on all this lower section stuff. But while I've got the lift here, I want to get everything high so I don't have to work off his ladders as much as I have been in the past. But it's coming along pretty nicely. I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm pretty happy to have a nice day. We've had 2 days of off and on rain and sleet, so it's nice to have a good day. So we'll just continue on and see about knocking some stuff out here. So I went ahead and I got this one overhang done just to make sure that I was doing it correctly, and that because it's a little bit of an angle, it's a little trickier to do than the higher end soffits. But I've got that one done. I did some custom metal work right along in there. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. It looks pretty nice. And then we have the rest of the soffit going up. So that that piece came out pretty good. I've got on this side of the house, I still have that overhang to do. I mean, you can see the difference between the two, but we'll get started on that one next, and then we'll be done with the back side of the house for the soffits.